Okay. I'm going to now, excuse me, sit here live on Facebook, YouTube, and do a little jamming. I made some videos earlier, but nothing that I wanted to turn into a concise lesson here. But I wanted to get something out on my channel today, so here I am jamming, and here's the plan. I want to show you jamming to Lydian backing track. A Lydian backing track. Not an A, but a Lydian backing track that you can find on YouTube. And this works for any mode. And how are we going to jam in Lydian today? Well, I don't even need to think in Lydian. All I need to think of is the major scale that contains the particular Lydian scale this one is referring to. And what I mean is, going online, and these style backing tracks are usually pretty reliable, and it says C Lydian mode backing track. So C Lydian, do I need to know, oh my god, C Lydian, what scale is that one? Do I need to memorize a million scales? Nope, all I need to do is go on my guitar and find a C note. Here it is on the high E string, on the low E string, perhaps. And I know my C major scale is. And I know that Lydian simply changes that by one note. But guess what? I don't even need to know that. Because I know that, actually, you play around with the scales enough, and you listen to the sounds, and you hear some music that you like, perhaps like some guitar rock dude like Joe Satriani jamming a song, and it sounds really uplifting, and you're like, how does that solo sound different than a major scale? And you find out from a guitar magazine that he's playing in Lydian. You fool around with it, and then you realize it's just simply this one note, and it sounds cool. Now, that's a sharp fourth, whatever you want to call it. Let's not call it anything today. Let's not get deep in theory, because we don't need to do that. Once I know where that C is, I know where I am in my scale shape that covers the entire fretboard. I know where I am in the most basic shape, and that shape expands to cover the entire fretboard. So I don't really need to know what key, C Lydian, anything about it. I just need to know where to mount the shape of the major scale on my guitar. This major scale pattern you can learn by hunting around my site for now for graph paper method videos that show you how to graph it out and get it in your mind. It's like an interface between like how your mind distributes quick information when you get lost, like a roadmap, that you can, draw music, the musical information you need, you can graph on graph paper, look at it, see it for the shapes that it really is, break it down to its core parts, and use that to navigate the fretboard anywhere. So for now, look for those on my website, but they will soon be paid for courses that you can buy on Udemy. But that's not yet, so get them while they're hot. Get them while they're free. Get it while it's free. Okay, so let's hit it here. Let's press play on our phone here that contains the song plugged into the system here. I'll rewind it a little bit. You can hear the bass thumping out that C note, creating the gravity that all the other notes are ringing off of. So I really just used a pentatonic idea. Here's my C note. I can see where all the little basic parts of the scale are based on that C note. I know I have a box here. That means I have a box here. And I'm in a pentatonic box shape here that I know as Dorian. And while we're exploring Dorian, we know that that's the number 2 of the scale. So we're in G. And therefore C should be the 4th of G. And what do you know? Straight down below G at the 4th is the C. Man, when you need that phone touchscreen to work, it don't work. I get carried away in the solo, and the my soloing goes away from the screen area there, so sorry about that. And I want to talk to you a little bit about when I was playing up there. There came to this point as I noodled up the scale that I thought, hey, wait a minute. Here's this box up here, and I kind of lost track of where I was, getting into the solo a little bit, and I had a question on, well, whether is it this note or this note? I really could have hit the wrong note there because I was in my pentatonic shape. There's a pattern of gut notes that'll work and a pattern of gut notes that will not work. Meaning you've got 4 frets right there, 4 notes in that 2 fret area on both strings, and only 2 of those notes are going to work and 2 are not. So 2 things helped me out there. One, understanding that it gave me confidence to just strike the note that I thought was right off the bat, was that if it didn't sound right, I knew which note I would instantly slide into to make it sound okay. It was simply the other note. But the second thing that helped me was I was listening to my solo as I played, and as I carried up the scale, I kind of had an inkling that I really didn't, I knew the next sound I wanted was, I could just feel that it was here and not here. Let me turn that backing track back on, and let's hear the bad notes and the good notes. And let's hear me hit a bad note and try to make it sound good. So there we have it. I had those are the two notes that sound good. Here's the two notes that won't. And you can hear they didn't sound all that bad, but there was a greater amount of tension, just not that congruent sound that you got by going. So did you hear how there I really enhanced my line by giving myself an extra step by starting on the total wrong note? So you put the greatest amount of tension in the very beginning of your phrase and then go into a 3-note resolve to really even that tone out. And on the beat, you're sliding that tone up into a good tone anyway, so it really has a pop-in good effect for your lines. If you know the pattern so well and you're maybe feeling kind of bored with it as you solo, your audience is probably as well, so you just jazz it up by going. Hitting that wrong note first and sliding into the good note really makes that note cook. Really gives it a scream it doesn't have if you just start it out. That note plays and gets lost, and it's really a kingpin in the line. It's the call that the rest of the line answers to. Well, all right, so there's some jazzing around there. Let's do something different. We'll play a little bit more Lydian, right? And then we'll switch into something totally different, like maybe perhaps something minor. Dorian. Maybe we'll even go Locrian, but I've probably got about 2 more minutes to broadcast before it is T-0 to get the hell out of here and go to work to make the money that keeps the show going. So here we go. Alright, that ended, so... Alright, perfect. The next one, F Dorian. Excellent. Here's an F note. There's an F, and Dorian is minor, so... So right off the bat, I get 5 notes of the scale. Alright, I guess I played all over the intro there. Let's get this thing started again, and we'll start at F down low. familiar pentatonic shape. So right there I just expanded, added the gut notes into the shape, and got all 7 notes of the major scale. So what you can see there is that even that has its dimension. What you learn to do there is extend the time you can sit around and jam and entertain yourself musically, and that starts building you as a player and as a musician and as someone who knows like the musical language and can talk with other musicians. So you well, though, kind of see though that after a while, even that got a little carried away, perhaps a little bit needed to change. So that's where you, as a musician, can experiment with further progressions. I was just kind of thinking what I was going to suggest is pretty advanced, and I didn't want to lose the basic, more basic understanding people with this video. So in F Dorian, this is still going to go way over a lot of people's heads, but if you can follow along, great, you're doing well. F Dorian is in a key. Dorian is the 2 of the scale. And so that means that there's, and if there's an F Dorian scale, then there's a corresponding Phrygian, Lydian, Mixolydian, and Aeolian scale, all starting on different notes. So you can take that F Dorian, now that you know it. Oh, it's F major, or F sharp. F Dorian. I tried to use this note because that, against that minor chord, strongly suggests Dorian versus me playing this note, a note down from that note, which would suggest Aeolian. And if you know your graph paper method, you know what I'm talking about right there. And if you don't, you can, like I said, search around my course right now for the freebies, which are all over the place, but soon to be revealed on Udemy courses. Udemy. All right. So, maestros and maestresses. Mice dresses. Did you ever see a mice in a dress? And this is live. And you just say dumb things when you don't have a script and you're just jamming live and you don't know why and you're just going late for work. So you could theoretically jam from F Dorian into A flat Lydian. Ooh, bad. Here, let me simulate F Lydian here, or I'm sorry, A flat Lydian, and then we'll pipe in this backing track, which should switch it around a bit. Let's hear how this sounds. This will be a worthwhile experiment. Okay, here we go. 2, 4, 5, 2. Well, that's all I got time for today. Got any questions? Leave them below wherever you leave questions here. I don't know how the hell this really works yet, so we'll roll from there. Hopefully somebody enjoyed this. Have a great day.